Battle of the Challenges podcast with Vincent Cloud.
What up, homeboy? And homegirls. I don't want to single out just the homeboys.
Yeah, don't rule anybody out, man. Not in this day and age.
I am Scott Allwood.
Episode 2, The Power of Three. I actually wrote notes that are pretty bare bone, skeletal, if you will, which is the same thing. All it says is, who's got balls? Where the fastest male and female split, once again, $25,000 up for grabs.
I think it's been kind of strange that they haven't really made their bank accounts known well. Like, they haven't been properly explaining that. I don't feel like, at least at that point, like, we all know that they're having their own bank accounts now, but it wasn't even told to them, like, oh no, you're just going to get this $25,000, Joss, in your bank account. You don't get it no matter what. So I just thought that was poorly portrayed in the show.
This is what I thought. I thought they should have had a big check at the top of that mountain.
Oh yeah.
You know, or you know, at the top of whatever this is, where they go into the water and they climb up with the ropes. Just give us that visual hint, that whatever, you know, that visual cue as audiences. You know, like, I know what the fuck is going on, but I'm thinking about the people that are tuning in and they're like, "What is this?" You know, like, if this is the first time they're letting this show have a chance because maybe they're a Big Brother fan. They're just like, what the fuck? Like, you know, nothing's clicking for me. Like,
it's literally not even been stated that they don't get to keep the money unless they get to the final. And that is a thing about the bank accounts. So I just think it's really strange that they haven't done that. Oh, look at us go on for 5 minutes about these fucking bank accounts. Sorry.
I like it because that's an aspect I liked about the ruins.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just not explained well enough, and it's just how the challenge is produced nowadays. Everything's stretched out. You're left with nothing but questions. You know, it's like the fucking Force Awakens. They're like, oh, it's mostly about the mystery, not the answers. You know what I mean?
Right.
At all?
I think that's just J.J. Abrams in
saying?
general. That's how he feels.
I don't want to get all political if you're a Star Wars fan, but god damn it. All right, so let's get on with it. Who's got balls? Fastest male. They split that $25,000, which is, of course, $15,000, as Nicole told us.
That was funny.
The only enduring thing I have for her is that she's bad at math, like I am. That's the only thing. I'm like, okay, all right, we'll share this little moment together. But
so in your head, you're like, yeah, it's totally $15,000. Oh wait. She was
honestly,
wrong.
Like, that's how I was gonna say. That's how I count. That's how I don't count. I'm like, okay, that sounds fair. I don't know. Like, I'm so lazy with numbers, you know. I'm just like, whatever. Okay, let's get on with it. But this is a guy's elimination week. The slowest guy's gonna go in. Fastest 3 people overall is in the Trioca. The Trioca.
I don't know how to say it. I'm not saying it out loud because I know I'll mess it up.
Out of fear of just being, like, socially shamed and stuff?
Oh, definitely.
They're like, how dare you?
Right. They'll be like, get this guy off your podcast. You can't even say the word.
I'm going to start off with the female heat. And more importantly, just the top 3. We don't even have to talk about, like, the order in which the girls went. First, to get $12,500 is Brittany. And I was like, I was pleasantly surprised.
But did you hear, like... Okay, so they have to go into the water, and they have to get 3 balls is what they told us, and then get the balls back out into the top of this hole. Yeah. So Brittany ends up doing that the quickest. Because did you explain the mission?
I did not. No, I'm breezing right through this, man. You have a very good ear. Very good ear. Yeah, you know, you described it perfectly. I'll just say this. It requires arm strength, right? And core strength. Wouldn't it have to be? Because you're also, like, barely moving your feet on this slippery, slick surface. And then you also have to hold on to this little light ball.
Sorry, we're not even talking about the fellas at this point. It's crazy how hard it actually would be. Like, we would be dead. We'd still be in the hole. Vincent.
I would either be Leroy or Nelson. honestly. Like, I mean, and those guys are in shape.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, I am like I
that is how
haven't
hard this
tried for a
was.
long time.
Like, I've never climbed out of a soapery. God damn it! Please edit that out. Don't leave that in.
You never climb. He never climbs out of the tub. He lets his butler lift him out with a fucking lift.
Oh man, don't talk about my butler. I don't want to get a poor image like people thinking, oh man, he's got a
you know
butler.
what? Hey, I'm sure Shotsworth would understand. I like Shotsworth. He's a good guy, that Shotsworth. But anyways, the first, second, and third women overall, this is very important, I feel. If we remember back to the first episode at all. But Brittany, who was not in the top 3 last time, shoots up to first place.
I love that she won. I
And-
really like her. I really like Brittany for whatever reason. I'm feeling like you don't share that sentiment though, because you immediately went quiet.
No, I actually agree with you. Brittany came along and fit right in to me. Like, she really did. She just she had that confidence of just like, yeah, I belong on TV. And then she was picking fights with Veronica. If anyone wants to make any stamp in this place, you go up to a vet and say, hey, fuck you, man. You know, and then that lets people know what you're all about and shit. So I totally agree with you on Brittany being awesome and fun and cool.
I just like her as a TV character. She gets naked all the time. What's there more to ask for?
Yes.
What? That makes
More
me sound awful.
specifically with Brad, who is a returning vet. I love Brad. Like, to me, Brad is one of those guys who is like CT, where CT got to all those finals, just never won.
Right.
You know, for the longest time. The same thing with Brad.
And then he finally did.
Same thing.
And it was just a
Yeah.
beautiful moment. And I couldn't be happier.
Yes.
I wish he would have done 10 more after that. Like, I really enjoyed Brad on the show. Are you happy to get the break? He looks jacked nowadays,
Yes.
by the way.
Jesus Christ.
Bigger than
He
ever.
just comes in. He never skipped skipped a beat coming in. He just walked right in. Yeah, he's more built than he was before. That's probably because he's now on the prowl. His fucking wife. Who do you think left who? Because I remember Tori back in the day. She was like, "Okay, Brad, this is our last season, and then we're fucking done with this shit." And he's like, "Okay, I know, babe." And then that was Duel 2.
100%.
He didn't win that, so that
she left him. 100% she left him.
And she's like, you know what, Brad? You're never gonna find a woman like me that wears a sash and a tiara.
And then he
Wrong.
just goes
Fucking
and immediately
wrong.
like, hey, look, I'm on TV now with this other broad, so haha.
And Brittany's got to be like early 20s. Brad's fucking mid 30s, I want to say.
I think he's 37 or 38. Way to go, Brad. That's my end game. That's what I hope happens for me. Just get a young broad when
I really hope that my marriage ends in sham and then I rebound.
You know.
Yeah, that's exactly
actually,
what I want.
What the hell was I thinking saying that? That's funny.
I was never opposed to Tori, by the way. She was fine, but yeah, I guess she was a little bit bitchier than what Brittany comes across as. Second place though is Cara Maria. Cara Maria, who I'm sure this just ate her up inside. She's like, God damn it,
Fucking
you know?
Brittany beat me.
Yeah. But good for her. Second place. She's still keeping her name up there like she should. And then finally, in a pleasant surprise, Cam, once again. I think this is her third place in a row for the women. Cam is just this natural competitor. She is fierce, and she's so sure of herself. You know what I mean?
I didn't know how I was going to feel about her, because I didn't watch Are You the One Season 5. But I'm
neither
liking
did
her.
I. No.
I'm liking her.
Yeah, she's cool. Third again, like that's something to look out for. That is very impressive. Going on to the male heat. Did you notice how when the men are like oiling themselves up and shit, and when the women are like, "Oh my god," you know, this is like Magic Mike. I'm like, wait a minute, where was the scene in which the women were oiling each other up?
Yeah.
What the shit, man?
I
that
did not think about that, but now that you mention it, it makes me upset.
I don't know. It was just ridiculous. Like I was like, oh, okay, so you include that, but you don't include that shit for the men. It's not a man's world anymore, Scott. It's all feminism and whatnot.
God damn that.
Okay, let's get on to the male heat. The top three guys, this is very important again, especially for the money and the Trioca. Bananas, first place. $12,500 right off the bat. This is after he was second to last running up that giant hill. Remember that?
Fucker.
Yeah. So he came back in a big bad way. But again, that's like the final. Bananas will be slow, but he is very good at the puzzles or whatever in the obstacles in that final. And this would be an obstacle right here, going into a hole full of water and grabbing balls and shit. You know what I mean? So good for him.
That's where the winners who won come up into like question how well did they actually do because of the spot that they were in. I think that's a big issue, is that they had a drier side than, let's say, Leroy.
Oh my God. I never thought about that.
That's just what's on the message boards.
Yeah, yeah. So, like, say your spot was exposed to the sun all day, that would be more drier, right?
Right, his were. So that kind of came into debate about, like, man, they don't even deserve those spots because they just had a drier spot.
Oh my God. No, I didn't even hear any of this shit. That's crazy. Well, Banana's got a really dry spot. He got his spot in the sun. And he won $12,500. That's crazy. Second place was a surprise to me, Kyle, the tall pirate guy. He made out with what's her name, Marie, and then we haven't even included all the inside house drama stuff. But he got laid by Kara, right? Or blown, or
he made out with Marie. Oh no, yeah, he was in bed with Kara in this episode, Cara Maria, because he made out with Marie in episode 1, and then was in the bedroom with Cara Maria. I don't know.
That's
I don't
pretty
know
great.
about him.
Lucky bastard, right? Right? I mean, I think mathematically that means he's a lucky bastard. I don't personally enjoy Marie or Cara Maria, but I'm like, I wouldn't turn Cara Maria down. I wouldn't turn Marie down either. You know what I mean? So, I guess good for him. God, it's the British accent, right? Or is it the pirate look? What do you think it is?
It just has to be the...
What floats your boat, Scott?
We're fools. If anyone from a different land comes here, we're just like, oh my God, you're so amazing. And I feel like that's kind of what happened to them, is they just got tricked. Not that I'm saying Kyle's a bad dude. I don't really have much of an opinion on him so far. But...
Oh, I have a bit of an opinion, especially when it comes to the dealings in the Trioca or whatever. But more on that later. And then third place for the men is Brad. A welcome back for him, like we were saying. And he gets third overall. Let's just spoil this now. Even though Brittany won the money for her heat, she did not enter the Trioca. It was Bananas, Kyle, and Brad.
Fucking Nelson, my boy. Last place. Why are you doing this to me?
You like him too? You like Nelson too?
I love Nelson, man. He's my favorite newcomer. You better say that he's your favorite too. No, I really like him.
It was between Leroy and Nelson.
Leroy's been on the show enough. It should have been Leroy down there. I would have loved to see Leroy in elimination right away. I don't think he's ever gone through that emotion, that pain that Nelson suffered.
Oh, being last? Maybe not. Maybe not. I don't know. No, I think they went in last place in Battle of the X's 1, but whatever. But yeah, Nelson automatically into elimination. I'm just like, God damn it. And Bananas, he got Trioca, so obviously Corey's going in. Like, I knew that right off the bat. Most people should.
I loved Brad in this deliberation. He came hard in talking about what they were going to do or how they were going to even talk about doing things. Like, he wasn't just going to be pushed over. It was just everything Brad needed to be coming back into this show. Yes.
More specifically, it's, Bananas, Brad, and Kyle. It's mostly Brad and Bananas talking over Kyle. Kyle has nothing to say, and it's almost like they don't even allow it. They take over the show immediately. I love that because, Bananas is going to do that, but Brad is just right there with him. And he's even saying, Johnny Bananas, like you're saying Corey, but I can't put in what was it? I can't put in Tony. He's like, you got to be respectful in this place. Like, if I need to put, like, the fact that he's like, Brad, Bananas, there's got to be some respect. I'm like, holy shit, who uses that word respect in this show anymore? You know what I mean? It's full of douchebags. And what I remembered right away is that Brad always came across as like the adult, the older person of the challenges, who's just kind of looking down disappointingly at his castmates. You know what I mean? And he's back to fucking claim what's his. It's so awesome. It really is awesome.
It would have been really disappointing had it been two other people in there with Bananas. Like, Brad was the perfect person to be in that room with him at that moment.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that scene of this episode.
Yeah, and even, I mean, like, okay, realistically, if Corey got in there, then they could go at it and shit. But Corey does not have that mindset, that maturity, that power and wisdom that Brad has. You know what I mean?
No, I'm 100% there with you.
Yes. Bananas votes in Corey right away. Brad votes in Tony. Why? Because it was a Twitter beef, and he dismissed it as such. He's like, listen, it was just so stupid. It's something I said. Sure, I meant it then, maybe, but I'm here now. But he's like, well, I don't even have a vote. Might as well go with Tony. Because it also kind of hurts Bananas in a way, And then finally, we never see this, but Kyle puts in Victor. Do you think that Bananas and Brad really just said, Kyle, you're going to put in a rookie of our choosing or something? You know what I mean? Like, they basically kind of
That's a good question.
bullied him in there.
Now that you mention it, like, I didn't think of it when I was watching it, but I would have loved to see Kyle and his reason for picking him. Maybe they're just, I don't know, maybe they did do that and they didn't want Kyle to seem like just one of their pawns, Maybe they wanted to make him seem like he was doing his own thing.
I guess what I'm saying is Kyle's more impressive when he's in between two chicks than he is between two men. You know what I mean? It's not as action-packed. He's definitely not getting laid or anything like that. Jerked off. What the fuck did him and Cara do with each other? It seemed like she was under the blankets more than he was ever under the blankets. I don't know. I don't know what I'm getting at. I just thought that was weird. Oh, shit. But I do remember Brad giving a hard no on Devin. And Bananas is like, Devin and Corey are both my nemesis. And whoever has a chance would probably put me in. But Brad picked up on that and is like, you know what? I kind of want to put in Devin. Just to kind of, stir shit up. And when he said that, when it came to the, what is that, the dinner, the Inquisition, Spanish Inquisition, when Corey said, hey, Bananas, Brad, Devin, someone else and someone else, they're gunning for you. I was like, oh, that is perfect. That is the perfect name to use in that scenario.
It was Victor, right? The third person that they had put in there. He was saying it was Victor, Devin, and because I remember...
Oh, yes, that's right.
Seeing Victor and him, like, his eyes just widened up like, oh, fuck, I might get thrown in now because he just exposed us. But for some reason, Bananas didn't believe Corey. I mean, he would assume that Corey's just saying anything to get out of the mess, but he was speaking truth. Brad literally did just tell him, I'm not putting Devin in.
I know, but and that is the beginning of a lot of like, ooh, who are they gonna vote in, sort of back and forth. That's really not that back and forth. There's a lot of times where like Corey and Nelson, they take Kyle aside at the bar and they're like, hey man, like you can't let shit run or whatever, like don't vote us in, and my name and your name never outside of our mouths, shit like that. And Kyle's like, yeah, sure. And then there's even Kyle and Brad later on talking to each other saying like, well, what the fuck did they say? They're like, well, what are we even talking
It's really
for
confusing how things played out, because it didn't seem like it was going to be Corey going in there at all.
Yes, and that was the frustrating part. There was a lot of stuff dedicated to like, ooh, maybe we'll sway the votes or whatever, And to me, I'm like, as an editor, as a writer, as a whatever, I'm just like, cut that shit. Like, we don't need it. I would rather see an actual elimination. We don't get to watch this elimination. Remember, this is episode 2 and episode 3. Things pick up on episode 3, but in episode 2, it's just a sweeping Corey vote. And I was just kind of disappointed in Kyle and in Brad. I'm like, no, Brad, really, you could have swayed the vote. You could have put in something else. You could have put in,
Like he could have convinced Kyle to do what he wanted.
yes, absolutely. Because I feel out of the two, Brad has a lot more authority to him. It feels like, I don't know, because they were talking about like how why should we just follow Bananas, but they did. It's just
Honestly,
I
I
don't know.
for them both, it was probably just it was a better move to go for just Corey at this point of the game. You know, you don't want to make Johnny your enemy right away because he does have a lot of pull in the game.
And he'll never leave, so he's going to be there every fucking year. You know what I mean? Jesus Christ. Anyways, they all vote in Corey. Corey's pissed, and he's like, "This is the third season in a row that I'm going in first." I'm like, "Is that right?" Like, I know he goes in quite early. It was Champs versus Stars.
Dirty 30 and Champs versus Stars, right?
Yeah. I'm like, well, that's what happens when you're a guy who's like, hey, fuck authority, Bananas. You know what I mean? Like, fuck this establishment. Like, he's trying to rouse people and say, like, hey, let's fucking win once instead of letting this guy win.
Dirty 30 was not the moment to do that. This season would have been a great moment to try to gun for him right away because there's so many new people. Dirty 30, a lot of familiar faces that know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
They were swaying more for him than Corey.
Yeah. But you know what? We could end this episode with they're like, oh my God, there's a thing. If you guys win, there's a grenade. I'm not going to tell you what that is. And then you see the credits roll up. You're like, what? What is this? Scott, you are a filmmaker as well. I mean, you create, you produce a lot of stuff. You even create your own challenges and stuff like that. So when you have your complaints, when you dissect the challenge and what they don't do, I feel like that has some validity to it. You know how to properly stage a challenge. I've seen plenty of your seasons. You don't usually just cut on a stupid ass cliffhanger. Or even worse, mid-sentence of something that's meaningless. You know what I mean? It drove me nuts.
It is a little strange how they're doing this. I love that we're getting more content, but as a weekly viewer, it's very hard. It would be just great to binge watch. In a world where ratings mean more now than ever, with having just wanting people to tune in every week, to do a show that's binge watching on each week does not make any sense. Does what I'm saying make sense?
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I've been trying to say things for like a couple seasons now where I'm like, you know what? The way this is put together would be fine if it was all dropped in a big chunk like a Netflix show, like Stranger Things or something like that. You know what I mean?
I know
like
they're just trying to get, yeah, exactly. I would
Yeah.
prefer that. I mean, they're just trying to stretch it out, which is great and awful at the same time.
Yeah, it's like thank you, but I didn't. It's like be careful what you wish for or something like that. I don't know. It's just, to me right now. It's been quantity over quality for sure. Like I really haven't really felt in love with the challenge for a while. Like it kind of came back a little bit with Champs versus Pros. No, a lot of it with Champs versus Pros, and then it kind of died down for Dirty 30.
Hated Dirty 30. Champs versus Stars was great for a few episodes.
Yes, and then
And this I really am enjoying this season. I'm loving all the fresh faces. I'm really just all about episode 3.
let's get on to episode 3 because that's the end of episode 2.